All right, let's talk about how to turn your watercolor painting into a real life looking comic book using the Comic Life 3 app. Uh, so, um, since our paintings are done on actual paper and not on the iPad, the first thing that you're really going to need to do is you're going to need to take a photograph of your work with the camera. I'm not going to do that here because I've already photographed my work and I have it saved already on my iPad, so I'm going to go straight into the Comic Life app. But a couple of things that you need to consider in taking photos of your work is to if your paper is very curly on the edges, I can show you how you can straighten that out. The watercolor paper, since it's very stiff, you can kind of bend it back into shape, and you'll be good to go. And then the other thing that you need to do is make sure that you crop out any unnecessary things around your photo and make sure you have a nice uh, focused and bright photo by tapping on the screen as you take it. So let's go into the Comic Life 3 app and we'll talk about what we're doing. So in the upper left hand corner, the button that looks like a plus does pretty much the same thing that the plus button does in brushes, and that is starts you on a new artwork. So you can see I've already got a few things working on that I've worked on here, but I'm going to start something new. And when I press that plus button, I get a little menu there, and the one thing that I want to press is Create Comic, so I'm going to tap that. Now I've got a menu here of templates, and there's actually even more things going on here than just comics. There's all sorts of neat things, but probably the thing that you're going to want to choose is the blank with styles, because you can change some things with it. So I'm going to tap on that. Now what I want to do here is I want to import my image, but before I get to that, one thing that I want to touch upon is the fact that some of you may have done your artwork in landscape style, and as you can see, the picture is by default oriented to portrait style. So if you need to change that, in the upper right hand corner, just underneath where the battery symbol is, there's a wrench. So I'm going to press the wrench, and down almost to the bottom there's a tab that says document setup. I'm going to touch on that, and then down at the very bottom it says change paper size. I'm going to touch that, and down at the very bottom again it says done. Just above that you'll see it says portrait or landscape. I can tap landscape if the artwork that I need to use is in landscape mode, but I'm going to save mine in portrait because my artwork is done in portrait. So I'm going to press done and then press done in the upper left hand corner. And now what I'm going to do is I need to import my photo. So I'm going to press the plus button. And then I'm going to go into the camera roll or moments, whichever one that you see there. And I'm going to select my artwork of choice. And I'm going to use this guy today. Now you can see that the photo is pretty small on the page and there's blue dots around it, so I can really kind of just stretch that by taking my fingers, and if the blue dots go away, that means maybe you hit the white paper. Just tap on the photo again, they'll come right back. You have to be very careful with this app because the buttons on it are really sensitive and kind of finicky, and they'll give you trouble if you are in a rush. If you take your time, you'll be just fine. So now I've got my photo kind of sized the way that I want, and I want to add my story to it. If you look down at the bottom there are some different kinds of bubbles that you can choose on. There's some speech bubbles in the middle and thought bubbles. Thought bubbles kind of look like a cloud. The bubble that's just an oval with an arrow, that's a regular speech bubble. Next to that, there is a narration bubble, and I'm actually going to pick that, and you'll see me drag it. I'm just going to take my finger, and I'm just going to drag it up to the top here. But if you look, you can see that the words are very tiny. They're very hard to read, and I don't want to. I don't want them to be that small. So what I want to do is I want to increase the size of the font. Font is just a name for the typeface. If you look above the keyboard, there's a little toolbar there, and in one section of the toolbar close to the middle, there's a small a, there's a number 10, and then there's a large A. If I start pressing that large A, I'm going to enlarge my words pretty far. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 20. And then I can backspace out what's there and type in my word. And I'm just going to keep what I'm going to write here very short for interest of time. So I'm going to say somewhere in space. Now, to finish typing, if you look all the way down at the bottom of the keyboard, in the bottom right hand corner, there's a little picture of a keyboard with an arrow down, and that's going to get the keyboard to go away. And now I've got my word box here, and you can see that I kind of need to do a little bit of work on it because it's cutting off the word somewhere. So I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to stretch a little bit, and that looks pretty good. So I'm going to leave that like that. Now I want to do maybe a thought bubble. So I'm going to grab the thought bubble here, and I'm going to drag it up to my character. And again, I'm just going to keep my story. Oh wait, I want to make that larger. So let's delete that. You want to delete that and make it larger because if you change the size after you've typed, it won't work. So whoops. Is that a period? No. Yes, that is a period. That's a weird looking period. Whoops. Alright, so he's saying, hello anyone? And I'm going to get my keyboard to go away. And that looks pretty good, but I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. A little bit. And if you need to change the arrow, you can, or well, in this case it's the bubbles, you can make it longer. You can change the length. You just have to drag it. So I'm going to leave that. That looks pretty good like that. Now, since my photo is black and white, I want to change the background color of my artwork here to make it kind of stand out. So if you look up in the top right hand corner, there's a little paintbrush. I'm going to tap on that, and you can see I've got a style menu here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the black background, and I want to stick with the black and white look that I've got going on here. And I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to take my photo, and I'm just going to blow it up a little bit more, and you'll see it'll cause the type to overlap, and that's looking pretty good. I'm going to tap on this guy here. Whoops. Tap. I'm just going to move it a little bit. I want it to stretch to the edges there. And I think that's pretty good. Now, I could possibly add more to this, and I might want to later. And I can go back into this app, and I can change anything in here that I want. But for right now, I'm done for the day, so I want to save it. So I got to do a couple things here before I can be totally done for the day. I need to press on the upper left-hand corner where it says My Comics, and it's going to save it. But you'll see underneath there where it's saved, it says Blank with Styles. I got to change that to my name. So I'm going to tap on the image again, and then I'm going to touch right where it says Blank with Styles, and the keyboard will pop up, and I can put my name there. You can put your first name if you want, or you want to type your whole name out, that's fine. Whatever allows you to find your work. And then when you're done, just press the keyboard go away. And then the very last thing that I need to do is I need to save my work. So I'm just going to press the save button. Now this is a little bit strange here. It doesn't say save the camera roll or anything. What we have is send a copy, open in another app, or print. I want to press send a copy. Then I get an option to choose a format. We want to choose JPEG. A JPEG is a regular photo file. So I want to choose that. And now it's creating the file, and now it says choose how to send. So I want to tap that, and then I get a box here, and I've got some choices up here, but what we really want is that save image. That's going to save it to the iPad so that when we go into Artsonia, we can import it from the camera roll and we can upload it. So I'm going to press save image, and now my work is all done, and I can press anywhere to get that to go away, and I can pass the iPad off to the next person so that they can, who needs it, so that they can do their work. Of course, if there's time and nobody else is waiting on the iPad, you can go ahead and go straight to Artsonia and get that uploaded and answer your essential question.